Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is happening, Lock Shoppers, on this blustery Tuesday, April 7th? A lot of snow last night. I did not expect that. I know the weather people probably suggested there would be that much snow, but I don't always listen. My wife told me there was going to be snow overnight, but I just didn't see this much coming. We are east of Edmonton, south of the
yes, you are
rural metropolis of Ardrossan. Great. And we must have had 3 inches of snow, if not a little more.
Really?
I'm not kidding, like a lot.
Damn.
When I left my house this morning, it was still blizzarding out there. Then I come to the west end.
West side,
and it was blue skies to the west. So I don't know. If you don't like the weather in Alberta, wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe an hour. It's bound to change. Welcome to the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta. My name's Jay Milne, host number 3 in the house.
Yes.
We've got Trev. What are you pushing? The 1s and 2s or the
1s and 2s, 3s and 4s?
Pushing the 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s.
Pushing buttons.
Look, it's a beautiful day in here.
It's nice. Vibes are good.
The DGen Den helped us get a big win last night. Huss and I were 1 goal away from magic, and I mean magic, happening. We'll get into all that. And you guys know, what should I call myself then?
Glue guy.
Glue Thry?
Glue Thry.
Because I'm host number 3. So when I'm on the Lock Shop, because I believe the official order is Huss, Matthew Owanek. Now I've taken over the reins as 3. Given that I come on here and we cook, we throw in some spices, we throw in some bouillon, maybe some fresh vegetables, and always minced garlic, and we cook. We start cooking that pot up.
Sounds
which
good.
We're going to do today. There's a massive slate, 11 games in the NHL tonight. Michigan, last night, national champions. I was right on one side of my Jays play of the day, which was that UConn would keep it respectfully close.
It was close?
They did. The spread was 6.5. They only lost by 6. But both teams shot terribly. Sub 40% shooting. And that tells you a lot about that Michigan still went on and pulled that game out. They were dominant in the paint. They were dominant from the free throw line, and they get the 69-63 victory over UConn. The Frozen Four, Michigan could go on and win another national title this weekend. As the Frozen Four goes April 9th and 11th from Las Vegas, the T-Mobile, the old cell phone in Vegas, will be hosting the Frozen Four. You'll have 2 games on Friday and then the championship on Sunday. So it's North Dakota, number 2 North Dakota versus Wisconsin, and number 1 Michigan taking on Denver. So Michigan, and I know somewhere out there, Mike from Michigan is just ecstatic because Mike from Michigan was the guy that put in a parlay a long time ago saying that Michigan would win the men's national basketball championship and Michigan would win the Frozen Four. He's already eliminated one, and I think the basketball one was the hardest one to achieve. Much larger tournament. This is a 2-game tournament. Michigan gets, the goaltender gets hot for 2 games. Bingo, bongo, bango. They're going to be national champs again. So we're going to get into all that. The Oilers, it is a game day here in Edmonton, so we're going to keep you up to date. Morning skate was supposed to go this morning at 10:30. However, from all I can see, I have not seen any lines come out, so we can only go with what we saw yesterday at practice, which was McDavid centering Podkolzin and Savoy. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in between Kasperi Kapanen and Jack Roslovic. Dickie, Doc, and Freddie. How do we make this something? Dickinson, Doc, Dickinson, Frederick, Doc. The mouse ran up the clock.
I think you just did it right there.
Dickinson, Frederick, Doc.
Yeah,
there we
that
go.
works.
Okay, that'll be your third line. And Henrique in between Max Jones and Curtis Lazar. On the back end, Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse and Murphy, Wallman and Emberson. Now, I did see this. I haven't seen lines confirmed on the NHL site. I haven't seen lines confirmed on X by any of the usual suspects that would report that. But I do see on the Score app that they are saying that Tristan Jarry is confirmed in net. So we'll go with that. We knew Tristan Jarry and Connor Ingram were going to split these games regardless. So we'll say Tristan Jarry is starting in net tonight. Tough one. And just so you guys know, we've got the lock shop right now. We've got two guys in a goalie coming up with Joaquin Gage and Reed Wilkins. Okay. Then we've got EST afternoons with Matthew Wannick and Joaquin Gage. Zachary Kubish is back behind the producer technical desk, and he will carry you all the way through the Reed Wilkins show with Jay Milne. Right up to 6 o'clock, there'll be a brief buffer there, and then the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show will kick off right here at 6:30 and take you up to Puck Drop. Obviously, that is hosted by Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell, and the one and only Ben Thompson. It sucks to see, but the Oil Kings were officially eliminated last night by the Saskatoon Blades down at Rogers Place. A tough loss. Gavin Hodnett scored with, I believe, 2.5 minutes left to put the Oil Kings up, only to be responded by 33 seconds later. And then about halfway through overtime, Saskatoon scored the overtime winner. So you hate to see it. The Oil Kings were heavily favored in that matchup, but you must give credit where it's due, and that is to the Saskatoon Blades, who I believe are now on their way to to Medicine Hat. They're going to Prince Albert. That changes everything because they were a lower seed, right, Trev?
Yeah, they're playing the Raiders.
Okay.
I don't know where.
I didn't see how it all shakes up because the Oil Kings were the higher seed. So
Yeah.
okay,
So it should be a good one. Yeah.
Trev, Oilers, Mammoth tonight. Mammoth, as a good old Reed Wilkins likes to say, in Utah tonight. It is expected that Vejmelka will get the start for them. Oils, I'm getting my Oils and Oil Kings mixed up here. The Oilers are going into this, and Huss, I know you're there, so, and I know you've seen this, and I wonder what it does. It just made me look. Okay, the Oilers are going into this in Utah as the underdogs.
They're the dog.
The dogs. Now, I think this might be recency bias. I think this is obviously due to the fact that they're missing two of their top players in Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman. But I don't know if it's ready to call this underdogs. Like the Oilers are plus 109 right now on the money line. Trev, where are you at on all this?
I'm surprised by that for sure. The Oilers have yet to lose to the Mammoth. Perfect 5-0 record against them. They've lit up Vejmelka. So definitely they're looking into Draisaitl, Hyman out, and the Mammoth having a 3-game win streak. Like that's what they're putting a lot of stock into that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of understand it, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I like the Oilers' chances still.
But they have yet to get that elusive first win as the Utah Mammoth against the Edmonton Oilers.
That's tough.
You have to think that would be heavily weighing on the hearts and minds of those players.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Maybe not. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you one thing. There was some positive news at least from the lock shop as the Winnipeg Jets stomped the Seattle Kraken last night. And with that, we will bring in our good friend Andrew Hustler Paterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Vibes got to be a little high out there in Winnipeg, Huss.
Yeah, I mean, it's the paradigm or the problem of where the team's at. Like, listen, it was a fun, great crowd last night. I was kind of wondering what a Monday night where the team is, like against Seattle. It was full. The place was rocking. And the team played their asses off. And, we saw a hell of a game, some great goals. Like the real win, I think, for the Jets was the play of Brad Lambert last night, who scored his third. I don't know if you caught the goal, just an absolute beauty, ripped it. He's getting more confidence. Scheifele hit 900 for his career last night. He's on his way for his first 100-point season. Kyle Connor, another goal. Gabe Velarde's one away from 30. So there's a lot of individually good things. Problem is, as we said, guaranteed 3-point game last night between the Kings and the Predators. And the Sharks win as well. And basically they made up 1 point on Nashville.
Yeah.
And there's one less game on the schedule. So they got an 8% chance. But hey, listen, they like the Bee Gees. They're staying alive. They live to see another day. Big game coming up against the St. Louis Blues. And then it's just a lot of scoreboard watching for the Winnipeg Jets. But yeah, it was a fun night last night. It was a nice win. Disappointing to see, though, what I said yesterday would happen for sure, and it happened again. Like I got to pull this up, but I know we were talking about this yesterday on the program. The Kings have the second least regulation wins.
It's unbelievable.
In the NHL. Yeah. Like it's Vancouver at 15, then LA at 19. And no one else is really close. I guess Chicago has 21. But other than that, it's 24-25 for pretty much everybody in the league. And they are here. But this team literally goes to overtime like every single game.
Well, Huss, we were on that. I mean, that was something you presented yesterday on the show. We put it into a play last night, and boy, oh boy, could we have not used another goal in that Tampa Bay Buffalo. Do you know how magical that would have been? That would have hit a lot of parlays for us.
Yeah, I watched the first 15 minutes of that game or so before heading to the rink. And, it was as expected. I mean, we knew it would be a tough, hard-hitting game. I was kind of thinking it might get a little uglier, especially, consider all the fights and everything that happened in that 8-7 game a few weeks ago. But I was just sort of following it. We had 3 in the first period. It was a real great start. But just could not get one more to get that over, which is unfortunate because, I've been riding Buffalo all year. They've had a little bit of a slip up as of late. And I kind of thought that maybe last night would have been Tampa's night, so I didn't want to play the side. And then, we lose by half a goal. But, hey, you win some, you lose some. I did play the tie on its own just because.
Why not?
Like as I said, and looking at this, their last 4 games have all gone to overtime. They won in OT, they lost in a shootout, won in OT, won in a shootout. And these 2 head-to-head games between Nashville and LA, both went to OT, so both teams get 3 points instead of both teams get 2. And but it's the Jets' own fault for being in this situation. We'll see what happens coming up over these next few days, but lots of scoreboard watching. I did note, and I heard you guys talking about tonight's game. Interesting that Jari's going to be going for Edmonton tonight. It is interesting to see the Oilers as an underdog in this game, especially considering that if they can take care of business over the next 5 games and win the division, this will be a playoff preview and a first-round matchup. So,
yeah. It's a good point.
I was looking at the division odds. The Oilers are the favorite right now. Obviously they're right now first place based on it. Even money on Edmonton, Ducks 2-1 and Vegas plus 325. I haven't looked at their schedule. Maybe they've got some really tough games coming up or something like that. Who do the Oilers have running the rest of the way?
The Oilers they are in Utah, obviously, tonight. Then it's the back-to-back tomorrow. They're at San Jose, at LA. That's a Saturday matinee. And then they host the Avalanche on Monday. And then the final game of the regular seasons, they host the Vancouver Canucks. So, one of these back-to-back games, I think, is a gotta have it for the Oilers. And you know, I mean, if you're looking at the standings, okay. I mean, Seattle, they're now in the rearview mirror. I think
They're done.
they've been polished off, and they're in Minnesota tonight. That's one that I want to look at. The odds are long, but if we put something together, and the Colorado Avalanche tonight can clinch the West Division with a win over St. Louis, so that's also something that's in the favor of Winnipeg Jets fans. And I think that's it. Like the St. Louis Blues, I just don't. You know, maybe, but now the Avalanche have something to play for tonight. There's something at stake. You might see a different Avalanche team, certainly than we all did last week when we were blown away with Vancouver rolling into Colorado and, you know, shocking them with an 8-6 victory.
Well, and this is the second end of home and home for those teams. And of course, St. Louis went in to Colorado and beat them on Sunday night in that late game. So I'm sort of with you on this one. I mean, I like the Avalanche,
and they're only at minus 152. The Colorado Avalanche are on the money line, so that's a serviceable line
for sure. And you mentioned Minnesota. I mean, I don't mind the puck line on this one. Like I got to tell you, I watched Seattle last night.
Who are they?
That team is not very good,
and I think they've let the foot off the gas collectively.
Oh, dude, this was. The first period, I messaged Connor Rabchak, who was up in the press box, who had the access to the live stats. And this is a bigger question, I guess. But I did say, hey, check the live stats. Has there been a single recorded hit in this game? Because it was an absolute no-hitter. And he said, yeah, it's a 14-8 Jets. So like, I have no idea how they're now. I know Stathletes does that now. Like they kind of tried to take that out of the home rinks because there was such a crazy discrepancy between what was a hit in Long Island compared to Winnipeg, compared to Edmonton, compared to LA. But it was sort of comical, like what they were actually registering in on that. But the reason I say that is that this team, at times, I don't want to say they were going through the motions, but that's a team that I think they've been defeated. I mean, they know that they're done. They've had this tough run. Lane Lambert, I think, you know, has a really bright future coaching, but they just don't have the horses.
Yeah.
In Seattle. And
well, Jordan Eberle's one of your top scorers, or is your top scorer. And you look around the division, and you have Connor McDavid there, who's far over double that in points. I mean, it's just you just don't, like you said, Huss. You don't have the horses.
You know, I'm just pulling this up right here. Yeah, Eberle is the leading scorer. He's the only player on Seattle with more than 50 points.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to Eberle, love to have him on my team.
Sure,
but I mean, if that is your number one option in 2026,
yeah, it's not good enough.
I mean, to be honest, it's surprising that they were able to hang in there as long as they did.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's been a reality check for them over the course of the last sort of 3 weeks as things got fired up and, teams started really kind of buckling down for playoffs. And, we really did think 2 weeks ago that game last night would have been massive for both teams. It was a literal must win for the Jets, but the ship had already sailed on the Kraken last night. And that was sort of what we saw. So in the second end of back-to-backs, going in to take on a Wild team that has really over the past week or so, I think, been playing as if they are doing some dress rehearsals, if you will, for the playoffs, knowing that they've got Dallas coming up. I don't expect that team to take their foot off the gas at all right now. And, as they say, they blew it was a 4-1 lead to Ottawa. I think it was that was on the weekend, and then scored late to win.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be in a similar situation tonight. So, at right around even money or like minus 105, something like that. The puck line for Minnesota is something that I will be very happy at. What do you think about the Oilers tonight?
You know what? I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's say that. You know, it would be great to see Tristan Jarry come out and have another solid performance. I think that would go a long way in gaining favor of this fan base in the belief that you have two goalies ready to go heading into the playoffs, which from prior years, and as many playoff runs would know, you're going to need two goalies at some point. So if Tristan Jarry is in net as expected, then I would, I'd like to see him have a confident start. Here's what need to happen with the Edmonton Oilers. The game starts at 7:30. They need to start the game in their minds at 7:25 and arrive to the game on time. Start with a first period that is controlling, that is taking the pace of play and doing whatever they want with it. They have the ability to, even without Hyman and Podkolzin. I think that mostly affects their ability to score on the power play. But 5-on-5, this team has responded recently, which would say, okay, well, here's a real challenge. Here's where, the Kapanins and the Roslovics and Doc's back in the lineup tonight. See what he could do. If he can, get some of that piss and vinegar that this team desperately needs to enhance their 5-on-5 game and keep their 5-on-5 game operating at a sustainable level and a level that is fair, is above average. I think they could do it, Russ. I like okay, I'll put it to you this way. Anytime that you see the Edmonton Oilers as an underdog, especially at this time of the year, you got to look twice at it. You got to assess it with a keen eye. Now, before we get into looking at some parlays, we're going to bang out 2-3 at least, Huss here. I just want to address a couple things that have come in. One in the chat. Christy G says, do we know when Hyman will be back? We heard from Coach Chris Knobloch yesterday that Hyman will not play all but one of the last one or two regular season games. Hyman is not expected to miss any of the playoffs, which would suggest to me, and much like what they were talking about on the morning show this morning, because there's another question in the inbox, and you can send in your question, 780-218-9999, that asked, where's Dusty? What's going on? Did you fire him? Well, he's the boss, so we cannot fire Dusty. He can only fire us. And Dusty's away. He will be back. Have no fear. But much like they said on the morning show, if this was a playoff game, here in the lock shop, and it's game one of the first round of the playoffs, I think Dusty would be here. So fear not. Dusty is okay. Everything's fine. Dusty will be back. But that's just a little update from our end. And so, yes, it looks like Zach Hyman, once again, if this were a playoff game, he'd be in the lineup, I think, with certainty. But Huss, we did hit, thanks to the DGen Den. They put together the both teams to score 2 or more goals parlay. That was a nice one that came through. What did we get that finally boosted to? That was plus 405.
It was over 4-1.
Okay, so that was good. I mean, what we put together last night was so close.
Angry about that.
And those were plus 700. We're talking here. I mean, those would have looked pretty good in the old Huss account.
Well, and the draw, even just straight up standalone was like plus 305, 310 or something like that, which normally these games are usually like plus 330. So it just goes to show, the Kings are, there's a discount involved with the odds because the Kings basically go to overtime every night.
It's amazing.
And what's interesting is that Nashville, who of course missed out on that point and, dropped one against the Kings last night, right back in it.
Huge game.
Anaheim tonight.
Yeah.
And this is a big game. Like when we're talking about winning the Pacific Division, it's surprising to me that number of Vegas, like over 3-1, because Vegas has Vancouver tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We could totally wake up in the morning and with Vegas being in first place right now.
We were talking about it yesterday on the Reed Wilkins show. Like, if Vegas continues to roll like this, they've won 3 in a row. Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton. And they beat Edmonton. Right? Okay. If Vegas can continue to roll and you see them take off and they get and gain the lead in the Pacific, I'm not sure it's coming back. I'm not sure. I'm not that confident in the Oilers' schedule that's remaining. I surely hope they can get one of these two in the back-to-back. Then they're at LA. That should be an interesting one. But once again, probably a 3-point game. And then they host the Avalanche. And they host the Avalanche, then they host the Canucks. So, I could see probably 5 points here out of their last 5 games that should be attainable. But with the Golden Knights schedule, I could see them taking off and getting that Pacific number 1 seed. And then having to face Utah, and then having the chase for Edmonton and Anaheim, who would get home ice advantage.
Yeah,
I could see that being a situation.
For sure. I mean, Vegas, they're in Vancouver tonight. That should be a win. They've got 2 more games against Seattle. And after what we saw last night here in Winnipeg, I'm certainly would be backing the Kraken in those matchups. They've got a road game in Colorado, and then they got the Jets at home next Monday. So if the Oilers get 5 points, I think it's a pretty safe bet that Vegas is going to win at least 3 of their final 5 games, which would put them tied with Edmonton if they only got the 6, and it was 6-5, but then the Oilers would win. And that's part of the reason why the Oilers have that. I mean, they're even money and Vegas is 3-1 or whatever, is the fact that they have the regulation wins and they have that tiebreaker right now. And Anaheim, I guess, just on account of the fact that they're 1 point up on Vegas is there. Just looking at the Ducks, how they finish up, because we're kind of focusing on Edmonton, Nashville, San Jose, Vancouver at home, and then 2 tough games at the end at Minnesota, at Nashville, heading into the playoffs. So I'll probably stay away from that, but I will say this: I do like Edmonton tonight in this game against Utah. I like the Oilers. As we've talked about, like, this isn't just, hey, we're just getting ready for the playoffs. There's a lot to play for.
Yeah.
And if they are able to get their goal of winning the division, incredibly, for the first time since 1987, one of the most bizarre stats in all of hockey, they'll get Utah in this game. So I think this, it's an important game, kind of twofold. A, you'd like to play well against a potential opponent, and you would like to have home ice and be the team that starts off against Utah and lets Vegas go at it with Anaheim. So
interesting here, Huss, as we've spoke in the last 29 minutes, that line for Edmonton has moved from plus 109 to plus 112.
I was just noticing the same thing and wondering, maybe people aren't as hot on Jari getting the start tonight. I guess that's pretty much all I can think of.
That's all I can think of. I don't know if I would. I might. I don't know. You take this as for what it's worth. But Ekholm is still 1 point away from 400 career points. That point is at plus 154 tonight. Not sure if we want to dive into that with any of the parlays. That might be more of a Jays play of the game thing I could do later. But okay, let's dive into this, Huss. I mean, right off the bat. We're staying away from the Columbus Detroit game?
I was just noticing that. Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, that kind of feels like a full-fledged loser leaves town match.
Yeah.
Like, if Detroit loses, I think we can cross them off. Columbus is in a little bit better of a situation, but they cannot afford really any more, especially losses against teams like this. Like, I'm just going to pull up who CBJ has the rest of the way. It's like they've hit a bit of a wall here. I mean, they've lost 6 in a row after that incredible run when Bones took over. And they're starting a 3-game road trip that's going to define their season. In Detroit, in Buffalo, in Montreal, then home against the Bruins and home against the Washington Capitals. I'd say I like Columbus in this game, but I'm not sure if I trust them enough right now with the way that they've been playing and just the recent results to put them on. So I think I'm with you. I think that there's so many other options tonight. I
really like the Canadians. It's a bigger number. It's minus 250, but when you throw that into a 3-4 gamer, that can help you out. As much of an anomaly, well, not an anomaly. I guess I suppose I understand why the Oilers are underdogs heading into Utah. How about the Tampa Bay Lightning at plus 112 going to Ottawa, Huss? That stands out and it sticks out like a sore thumb to me. They got their butts hurt by Buffalo yesterday. And much like you said about the matchup with the Oilers in Utah, this could be a round 1 matchup in the making. So do you not think the Tampa Bay Lightning are A, going to be a little pissed off, and B, want to send a message to Ottawa?
Yeah. And what's funny is that could be a first-round matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ottawa makes it in the second wild card and Tampa gets 2 more points than the Canes do the rest of the way, that's the way things would be, assuming that they win the division. So, with the Buffalo's right there as well at 102. But again, Tampa's got the tiebreaker and Tampa has the games played advantage. They've got 1 more game to play. Although Buffalo, that was a big home win last night.
Well, let's keep looking through this before we decide how we're going to do this. I think we're both feeling good about Montreal. We're both looking at that Tampa Bay as a underdog right now and salivating. The Philadelphia Flyers, Devils.
Plus money on Philly?
I mean, why is Philly plus money?
I think everyone saw how hard New Jersey played against Montreal. They win there every time. They've 11 straight at the Bell Center somehow. But you look at what Philly's done as of late. They are on an absolute roll. We've got a great away record, 21-13-4.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got just all the mojo right now. And obviously they need to win to stay in that spot where they are in the playoffs. So I love what's going on in Philly right now. And I mean, as I say, I saw a plus 102 around. I don't know what you have it out there, but it's right around even money.
Plus 105.
Oh, even better. Even better.
I mean, these are the kind of plays if you mix in with a Dallas who's at minus 256, or even if you want to mix in the Colorado Avalanche, who might want to make a statement win against the St. Louis Blues at minus 149. These are the kind of numbers that can really boost it here. So I think we've got some interesting options. Flames, Stars. I don't know. The Calgary Flames and the Dallas Stars have been a little Jekyll and Hyde-ish as of late. Like, I just don't know how to approach that game. Even Dallas is minus 256. Do you even touch that game because it's such a big number?
I mean, if anything, I think you're looking at the puck line, but I'd rather take Minnesota on the puck line against Seattle. Because the thing with Calgary is, like, are they good? No, not really. I mean, but they absolutely battle every game. Like, I got a lot of respect for what they bring night in and night out. There's absolutely no quitting that team. And if Dallas is not, I mean, Dallas knows what's going on with them. They've got a date with the Minnesota Wild in 2 weeks. So it is one of those games that I would be a little bit more nervous on, just with Dallas being a little bit more up and down lately. Although they looked real good against the Jets last Thursday, I'll say that much. But I think, listen, at around minus 250, do I want to bet it on the money line? No. Do I trust it on the puck line? Not really. No. I think we've got better options.
What about Montreal on the puck line, Huss? Minus 1.5, minus 1.5 is plus 109.
Against Florida. Yeah. I mean, listen, Florida is just like, let's see what they've got for tonight as far as who's out. Yeah. I mean, Samoskevich is on the top line right now. Line 2 is Boqvist, Luosterainen, and AJ Greer.
Oh boy, that's quite an elevation for AJ Greer.
Luke Kunin's in, Cole Reinhardt, Vinny Hinostroza, Gustav Forsling, and Seth Jones are playing, but like I'm not familiar with Donovan Sebrango or Tobias Bjornfot.
Then I think Montreal -1.5's got to be on this. If we're putting together a puck line card, right now we've got Minnesota -1.5, and that is +118. You've got Montreal -1.5, and that's +109. That's a good number.
Absolutely. Is there any other favorite that we like? Or, as you mentioned, do we want to take, I mean, we can take Tampa Bay on the money line at a bigger number than either of those two on the puck line.
Tampa Bay, we can get it +112. You want to add that? Make a puck line, money line parlay with Minnesota -1.5, Montreal -1.5, and Tampa Bay on the money line +112.
I like that a lot.
Okay, I'll send that in as lock shop play number 1. You keep cooking while I'm doing that. I did see, it's something we can put some sort of an underdog special together, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we want to do something from the later slate of games, because we've got a bunch of early ones. What about this? Philly, Colorado, and the Oilers. Plus money on 2 of those games.
Philly, Colorado,
and Edmonton.
I mean, I like. The only question I have is what version of the Oilers shows up. But I think you're right. I think this is a game with some importance, especially heading into the playoffs, as this could be a potential first-round matchup. Right now, when I put that together, it's +625 without the boost.
I mean, it's great. And that gives us, we focus in on the Philly game, and hopefully we get that right. And then you just sit back and see if Colorado and the Oilers can take care of business.
Okay, I will send that in.
So I had a couple nice ones for today. Oh, nice to see that the Masters fantasy pool in the Discord for everybody.
Ooh, you going to get in on some fantasy pools for the Masters coming up?
Oh, yeah, big time. Oh, here's my guy Zulu. Zulu 96 has found an NBA horse for the playoffs yet. Zulu, I'm glad you brought that up. I have not, but we are getting into the time of year where sides need to be drawn. Wow. Are we good for hockey? Do you want to just rip around and check out a few other things, or do you want to get to any more on the pucks?
No, I think we've got a couple nice puck plays. I'd like to put in one or more more plays here, Huss, of course, but I think we're good on the puck. So yeah, let's roam. So
Zulu bringing this up, and again, I will over the next week or so we'll dive into this, but OKC still massive favorite to go back to back +120. The Spurs are intriguing, and they've had a great deal of success against OKC this year. Huge Wemby guy. They're 4-1. Celtics 5. Nuggets, who had been our team last year, at 9-1. And then Cleveland at 12. Knicks at 16. Pistons at 22. Hard to imagine it being much further down than that. Rockets, T-Wolves, Sixers. We're probably looking at that group of those top 6 teams or so. It's going to be tough to go against OKC, but we'll definitely cook something up in the next few weeks once we get a little bit more clarity as we run to it. yes, you brought up the Masters, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, the picks will be made. But how much time have you spent checking out the leaderboard or the odds board, I should say, for the big event?
Well, honestly, I went to YouTube last night to do some research. And by the way, tomorrow in the Lock Shop, I think it's only appropriate that Matthew Wanek is in this chair tomorrow because you guys cook up some good golf deals. So I think the listeners will be happy to hear that Wanek is in for that. I got sidetracked, Huss. I got completely sidetracked by Rays Creek. And there is essentially a way. Now, I'm sure they put this under lockdown once or close to the tournament, but you can start like way upstream from Rays Creek or downstream, I suppose, and kayak up. Rays Creek, it starts at like a lake, and then it slowly becomes Rays Creek as it continues on. And I saw this guy on a kayak that started the journey, and he ended up in Rays Creek right on the par 3. You know, Spieth's par 3?
Oh, I know it
and
well.
probably found his ball. So he had a ball catcher, and he was pulling balls from Rays Creek. And there's people all around him on either side of the creek working. Nobody was giving him any issue. So I was enamored that you could just take your own private little kayak and then just kayak Rays Creek.
Absolutely brilliant. Yes, and I would imagine there's some sort of gate or something like that preventing kayakers from just rolling in.
Run into what would be appeared as though like there is some metal, but all he had to do was duck under, and he was through. It was fascinating.
Well, the Masters, and by the way, for those of you that are kicking around later on today after 3 o'clock here, 2 o'clock in Edmonton, we're going to premiere a little Masters special over on WST if people want some more on that. And we'll lock in a bunch of picks for tomorrow. The great thing about the Masters and all the majors, but especially the Masters, is all the offerings that you get. Like, you know, you're always getting, you know, outrights and top 10s and top 20s. Like there's top 30s, there's top 40 numbers in a tournament where there's, I believe, only 91 competitors this year. So it gives you a bunch of options. I've been diving in, trying to get in the lab and figuring out like top debutante, top lefty. Going to be hard to not ride with my guy Akshay on that one. You know, the nationality of the winner, but then also going through some of the other groups. And then way more so than in a regular tournament, you'll have like sort of 5 guys in a group and you can bet them against each other just in that group. So, man, there is just so much going on. But why don't you just hit up the Masters odds over there at PA? And
I am shocked. This list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on as to what you could play. I mean, right now I'm looking at top Danish, top English, top Japanese, top Korean. I mean, top Canadian. I don't know if there's any. Well, let's see. Let me explore this a bit more because I mean, this is amazing.
If you've got some picks to get us for tomorrow, you can run that up. I mean, Corey Connors is obviously the big favorite for the top Canadian. But just as far as the outrights to win, like what's the latest? Because all of these lines,
they're not up here.
No, there'll be a Masters.
No, and I've had like right now they're not like it just doesn't have to win. The first thing I'm seeing is Danes, top English. I'll keep looking through here.
Those groups, that seems...
Winner. Here it is. It was just so far down. Sorry, Huss.
Okay, we got you.
Okay, obviously, number 1 is Scotty Scheffler. Plus 500. John Rahm, plus 900. Bryson DeChambeau, 1,000. Rory McIlroy, 1,100. Xander Schauffele, 1,400. Ludwig Aberg, 1,400. Cameron Young, 1,800. Matthew Fitzpatrick also at 1,800.
What's Tommy Fleetwood?
Plus 2,000. Your boy
right.
Tommy.
Yeah, I'm liking Tommy Boy's shots chance this week. One thing I'll say, and again, we'll kind of make our picks tomorrow. I was digging around in the first round leader market. I think Justin Rose has had a piece, the lead or a piece of the lead.
Yeah, that's true.
In something like 5 of the last 7 years in the first round. He's at 35-1. I saw. I also like Xander. I like Xander in the tournament. I mean, I think of that group there, he's going to be a guy that's going to be getting a piece of my action. But he's also been a guy that started well, and I think knows the importance of that first round.
So Xander Schauffele's plus 2,000 for first round leader. Justin Rose is plus 2,850.
2,850. Okay. Well, those are going to be a couple of guys that I'm going to look for, and I think just get a little sprinkle on the first day. And then what I do love doing too is also playing the matchups. And maybe we can do that tomorrow, just for as far as because we do have the I believe we've got the tee times. Best, here we are. First and second round groupings. Let's look at this. Okay, so Kiefer and Haotong Lee. Max Homa, a bunch of the older guys. First little bit is sort of guys that aren't as much in the mix. VJ Singh's playing as well. Matt McCarty and Rasmus Højgaard. Casey Jarvis from South Africa is a guy that I think has got a little bit of action on top debutante and top South African.
Yeah, he's plus 145 as top South African.
That's nice. That is nice. He's only got to beat 2 guys for that one.
Charles Schwartzel and Aldrich Poltgeiter.
Okay, so we get 8-19, Group 9. Jake Knapp, Sam Burns, and Cam Smith. Remember him? You want to talk about a guy that's just faded into oblivion with his play since going to live. It's really too bad. Canadian Nick Taylor playing with Ryan Gerard and Keegan Bradley.
Doesn't Nick Taylor? Which Canadian is it? Is it Corey Connors? That's usually buzzing around in the first round or two.
Oh yeah. Corey Connors is. I mean, he's a heavy favorite to be the top Canadian because he's just so damn consistent. His ball striking's great, and it seems like the Masters was built for him. He's had some great results here in the past. Nick Taylor, not so much, although still a heck of a player. DJ, Shane Lowry, and Jason Day playing together.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. This is the one I'll be watching. Tommy Fleetwood. My guy, Akshay Bhatia.
Ooh.
Along with the bad guy.
Uh-oh.
Patrick Reed.
No. Oh, that'll be a great group.
Fun to watch. Group 13, awesome group. Bryson DeChambeau, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele. Hideki's playing with Morikawa and Russell Henley. You've got Rory McIlroy, Cam Young, and an amateur, Mason Howell. Vic Hovland, Pat Cantlay, Alex Noren. Sam Stevens and Sung J M. I'm not sure why that's a twosome. Mike Weir playing with Wyndham Clark. So look if we missed anyone, because where's Mr. Scotty Scheffler? Oh my God, the chef Minwoo Lee's playing with Freddie Couples and a Thailand amateur. Would have liked to have seen him a little bit more. Corey Connors playing with Harry Hall and Mitch Brennan. JJ Spawn, who won last week to get in, playing with Mav McNeely and Tyrrell Hatton. Oh, okay, here's a big boy group. John Rahm, Chris Gotterup, Ludwig Oberg. Spieth, Rose, Brooks Koepka.
Jordan Spieth. You'd love to see that.
And okay, here's Scotty Scheffler, Bobby Mack, and Gary Woodland. Amazing group. That's the second last group out tomorrow. So
now
we're going to lock in on this Masters tomorrow. But
I know like tomorrow's kind of Masters Day, but because I'm not going to be a part of tomorrow's show, I'm going to ask you a small favor, okay? And I don't know if you've known, but I've been elevated to host number 3. So yes. I take that. I'm very excited about that. I take a lot of pride in knowing that the Lock Shoppers feel that I've been appointed to number 3 host. It means the world to me. And the reason I believe, is for our ability just to knock out plays. And one of our most loyal listeners, Baptized Big Uke, did something here in the chat that I just think, maybe it's a little Masters Tuesday tease, yes, we could call it. What about a Justin Rose top 20? Right now it's plus 110.
Rosie.
I mean, we could get that boosted probably to plus 120, but I think, it seems like Justin Rose is one of these guys that just turns it up and is always around at the Masters. I think a T20 for Justin Rose is a fine play, especially given it's a Tuesday tease. I don't think it's going to disrupt much of what you got going on tomorrow, is it?
No. Well, here, listen, Jay, I think we need to, I'm with you with Rosie.
Yeah.
Why don't we put this one, call it the gentleman's parlay?
Oh, now you're speaking.
And we've got Justin Rose top 20. I think we go Tommy Fleetwood. another great gentleman.
Yes, one of the best gentlemen.
And Xander isn't as much a gentleman. Maybe Hideki Matsuyama, former Masters champion. What do you think about those 3 guys? Top 20.
I don't know much about Hideki as part of a gentleman's agreement, but I like it.
Very
certainly.
Don't you remember when he won the iconic photo of his caddy doing the bow?
You're right. How could I forget? Hideki Matsuyama's going on that for sure. So we're going to put together the gentleman's parlay. This will be Justin Rose top 20, Tommy Fleetwood T20, and Hideki Matsuyama T20. I'll tell you who's not going on the gentleman's parlay is Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed.
That's come back and beat it, okay?
You know what? Bryson, not on it at all.
No. This isn't for those people.
Even
it's for gentlemen.
It is funny the numbers that are available on Rory right now. Just that, I guess tonight's the Champions Dinner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He's got everything else going on. Having won it last year, I know it frees him up, and he's now doesn't have all the crazy pressure that he used to have. But there's not a lot of people I've heard that are really backing Rory this year to go back to back, just because of everything that comes with being the champion in his first time. So I love the gentleman's parlay.
Okay, I'm going to send that in. That'll come up. The other 2, by the way, are up, or they will be up on the site shortly while I'm looking for that. Okay, Lock Shop parlay number 1. Wild minus 1.5, Canadians minus 1.5, and Tampa Bay to win on the money line plus 920.
Let's go.
Parlay number 2, Avalanche money line, Oilers money line, Flyers money line plus 655. So we've got some nice numbies up on Play Alberta already, and we're going to add to that to gentleman's parlay. Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki Matsuyama, T20, all 3 of them. That'll also be a nice number. Huss, before we let you go, what's coming up on WST?
Well, we're going to be breaking down the plight of the Winnipeg Jets. Mike McIntyre, the Free Press, is going to jump on us. We'll hear from Mark Scheifele and Scott O'Neill from last night's game. And then before we fire up that Masters special on the show at 3, heading out to Toronto to learn about the Rock League, the new professional curling league that debuted yesterday with, for my money, one of my favorite guests to talk to about anything because he's so funny, but John Cullen, who,
beautiful,
of course, stand-up comic, but also does a ton of work with the Grand Slams. And with this, he's going to join us from Toronto and fill us in on everything that's going on for the rest of the day and just to learn about the new things. So we're going to do all that. We'll hit the lines a little bit more, and then we just count down to puck drop and try and get a few. It would be so nice to hit a couple of these for a little extra Masters cash to sprinkle the board tomorrow when Iwanek joins me.
I like it. Positive vibes only. Huss, you're the best. Thanks for cooking it up with me here on the Lock Shop today. Thanks to all you Lock Shoppers that have tuned in faithfully, loyally. Don't go anywhere. Right now, the Play Alberta, or the Lock Shop presented by Play Alberta, will be finito. But coming up next is two guys and a goalie with Joaquin Gage and Reed Wilkins, followed by EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage, Matthew Iwanek, and Zachary Kubish. And we'll get you all the way home from 3 to 6 with the Reed Wilkins Show. We'll get you up to, well, just before puck drop. You'll have from 6:30 to 7:30 the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tommy, Sean Bell, and Benny Thompson. That has been the Lock Shop. We'll look for those coming up on Play Alberta soon. Don't go anywhere.